Welcome back to Royalty Soaps and the 12 Days of Soapmas. Today I'm very excited because I am going to be doing a Melt and Pour soap kit from Wholesale Supplies Plus. Now I have done craft kits from the craft store, from Walmart, from Brambleberry, from Wholesale Supplies Plus, and some of the kits that I've done have been over $75, but I think this may be my most expensive Melt and Pour soap kit yet because it ran me $108.28. We're going to be making a snowman with a scarf Melt and Pour soap. At least that is the hope, that is the plan. And I will let you guys know if this kit actually works. If you end up with a bar that actually looks like the bars they are advertising and kind of like how difficult it was. So first, we shall unmold from this giant box. What's in here? Ooh! Okay, so first thing is I have a silicone column mold in the shape of a little squiggle. We've got a squiggle. Ooh, we have some colorant in Matte Americana Red. Very nice. Of course, we have our hairnet and our plastic beakers and mixing spoons. If there is one thing about Wholesale Supplies Plus craft kits that I personally truly love is that they always provide gloves and hair nets, because hair in your products is nasty. Ooh, the fragrance oil, my favorite part. What is this soap going to smell like? Peppermint, natural essential oil, certified 100% pure. So a peppermint essential oil, all right. Always so strong and minty fresh. A snowman embed mold, like a column mold. This looks so cool. It even has a little snowman hat. Ooh, super sparkle white diamonds mica powder. So pretty. And then of course we have a whole bunch of Melt and Pour. And then we have a tall and skinny loaf mold. Time to put on my hair net. Make sure all that back hair is in there. Back hair? Okay, not back hair, just like back of my head hair. Awesome, and now I have checked everything against our packing slip. Looks like everything's in here. And per usual, Wholesale Supplies Plus has asked us to look up the instructions on their website. If they're willing to put one piece of paper in your box, I really would like to see them do 2 pieces of paper. One with the packing slip and one with the instructions, so I don't have to do it myself. I feel like if you're selling a kit, that's just the way it should be. Oh goodness, I have found an error. They have missed an ingredient. The instructions reference 0.5 ounces black soap color block. But said black soap color block is not on the shopping list and it's not on the packing list. So I have everything I need except this black soap colorant, which means that it would be impossible to make a snowman with a black soap hat because I have no black. So that's kind of a major oversight, I would say. And if this is the only thing you have, like it's the only type of soap you've ever tried to make, that would pretty much flub up the recipe. Now, lucky for me, I actually have some black colorant here because obviously I am a professional soap maker, so it's not going to change much for me, but if you were doing this at home, it would definitely change something for you. First thing I have to do is assemble these molds, which essentially just means that I have to make sure that they are completely secure. Have to go around the edge and pop the silicone into the groove. Now that I have our little snowman mold completely assembled, I have to tape off what will be his hat. So they told me to use black electrical tape, so here I have that. I'm just gonna sandwich it between these 2 items so that I don't drop it. I'm suspicious of this. This doesn't really look like it's gonna hold, but we'll try. And then I have to turn the mold upside down. So like this, so that I can pour soap down the middle. Now, it's going to be nearly impossible for you to see me pour this because it's at such an awkward angle. And it's also going to be difficult for me to tell whether or not, like, I've actually filled up everything I need to. So I kind of bumped the mold when I was trying to get all this fixed, and it could be that I have to take the soap hat out of the mold and put it back in to make this work. In the meantime, I am going to start pouring the scarf. Okay, so now I have melted down all of the soap we need for our scarf. They gave you a range of how much red color to use. You could use 0.05 ounces or 0.1 ounce. And 0.05 is the strength of this, and I think it's incredibly strong. So you could even use less. And if you do use less, you will have less of a chance of this bleeding. I saw even in their example picture that the scarf was kind of bleeding into the rest of the soap, and cutting down on the color in it will definitely help. And now that I have this ready to go, I can simply pour my red in. I'm going to be as gentle and careful as I can. I was super gentle and careful with that snowman hat, but even the slightest bump is probably going to make me have to remove it or pour it again, because it was very difficult to pour in that without some sort of a syringe. So in the future, I would highly recommend using a syringe with that portion of this kit. It would be great if it came with the kit, so you could get it right on the first time. Okay, I'm gonna set this off to the side so it can harden. So here's kind of what my table looks like right now. I've got my little soap hat hardening up, and then if you come over here, I have my scarf hardening up. And I'm gonna let both of these sit here for 30 minutes to an hour while they get really firm, and then we'll come back and finish everything up. Okay, let's unmold this sucker. This sat for probably an hour or so, so it should be, oh, yes, nice and ready to go. Look how shiny that top is. Ooh, so nice. Just gonna pop it out of this side. Very pretty. And then I'll take a little knife or potato peeler and just clean up these little edges here. There really isn't that much on there, but it will show up in the final design if I don't remove it now. Now, about this one. I am nervous. Well, I don't know. Actually, it looks like I poured it in the right spot. There is a little bit that splashed up on the sides in the very, very back, but I wonder if that'll even show up. Well, you know what? Actually, I might be able to just peel apart this one side and then peel it, maybe? Just take the edge of a knife here. Be very careful, but I find that's going to be the easiest way, I think, to get that off. Also, everything right here is extra, so I'm just going to cut that off too. I didn't realize I had popped so much extra onto the top of this thing. Okay, I'm just going to wipe out what I can. This is not going my way. I don't know if I should start over and try to re-pour the hat, or if I'm just gonna run into the same problem so it's not really like worth my time. The seal has been broken on one side, so there's a chance that some of the white will leak onto it, but I think that's just a risk I'm gonna have to take. Rats! When I was trying to close this up, I accidentally crushed the side of the hat. So I guess that seals the deal on this hat piece. At least now, I feel like I know what I'm doing a little bit better, so whenever I go to pour this a second time, it's not going to be so bad. But also, no matter what I do, the hat at the top is slightly uneven. You may or may not be able to see that, but just because of the way the mold fits together, it's not entirely straight, so the hat is slightly cockeyed. I don't know if the whole entire soap will be that way, But for now, I just have to focus on re-pouring the hat. Okay, it's been set back up again. Here goes nothing. I'll try to film a little bit and then I've just got to concentrate on pouring this. So I went ahead and let this mold sit overnight, and you can see the hat is all filled up and everything is nice and hard in there. The next part of the craft says that I have to spritz all the way down, like spritz the soap so that it will adhere to the next layer I'm about to pour, which is the white layer. So this is going to be the snowman. And I already read ahead and saw that they only want me to use, for the blue portion, like 3 teeny tiny scoops of this white mica. So they didn't tell me to add any to the white, but I'm absolutely going to, because I'm going to have tons left. And I really think it's just going to make the soap that much better. It's not technically in the instructions, but again, I'm gonna have so much left over, so why not make the snowman a little sparkly too, you know what I'm saying? Now I'm gonna add in the proper amount of essential oil, and I'm going to do so with this little dropper tool. Now, this was also not provided for me, but it's just so easy for the essential oil to roll down the sides, so I'm gonna make it a little easier on myself and just use the dropper tool. And then I'm just going to mix everything up. Now, the other thing I have to do is check and make sure that this soap is not too hot when I pour it, because if it is, it will melt our little snowman hat, and all that extra work we went to yesterday will be for naught. Let's add more glitter. So this is 142 degrees and I need it down to 125 degrees. So I'm gonna go watch a YouTube video and we'll be back whenever I'm done with that, and everything should be at the proper temperature then. Okay, so my soap is where it's supposed to be now. I'm gonna spritz this again. Also, I'm thinking about it, I can just hear so many of you guys asking, what YouTube video did you watch? I watched a video by Emily Reyna called Designing Adeline Morin's Room. I think it's Morin's, it might be Moran or something, but there you go. And now that I have spritzed all the way down, everything is nice and covered, I'm just going to pour in my soap here, just like this. It's not very hot anymore, which of course was the point, so that everything sticks like it's supposed to. I'm feeling a lot better about this project at this point in time. I was a little worried about it earlier. There we go. Mr. Snowman. I'm gonna spritz the top, make all those bubbles go away. Our little snowman fella is looking pretty good, and I'm gonna place this somewhere that absolutely nobody will touch it for like 2.5 hours. The time has come to unmold my snowman. Look how cute. It does appear that his hat is a little cockeyed, but it's okay. It's gonna be fine. Okay, so let's unmold this guy, see how we're looking. So some smudginess, though not much, I'm happy to say. I'm trying to be very careful with him because even that just nicked the side. So we have some pieces that are kind of, they just didn't fill in for whatever reason. The hat is still a little bit uneven, but I think when this gets molded, it's so little on the sides, it may not make much of a difference. Just gonna clean this up a little bit. And now, friends, I must decapitate this snowman. So his scarf has to float in the middle right here, which means the head has to go, which makes me all sorts of nervous, but I'm not gonna overthink it. I'm just gonna do it. And it's done. So there's his little head right here. Here's his little body, and here's his little scarf. So now we can start putting everybody in the mold. Oh my gosh, it's been like 2 days. Okay, so apparently I am supposed to assemble, after I've looked at the thing like another time, the entire snowman outside of the mold, and I just have no idea how I'm gonna do that, because I'm looking at their picture and I can clearly see that the head and the scarf have been attached, like using a melt and pour or something, but the body is completely separate from the scarf, which makes me wonder if their instructional tutorial and their picture were actually done in two different ways. Okay, so I've got my 1 ounce of soap here. It says the hat, head, scarf, and body. Place all 3 pieces on top of each other to see how they'll look. Use a plastic beaker and melt 1 ounce of clear soap to use as glue. Pour soap along the body, then place the scarf on top. Okay, so here's the body. Now I'm gonna place some soapy glue down. Oh, okay. Well, it's like leaning, clearly. I've got it like this, see? But like there's hardly any surface area for this thing to grab onto. So I guess now that I'm holding it in place, I'm just gonna pour a little more down the sides. I mean, we are going to be suspending it, so I guess that's okay. We'll just pour this down the side. Okay, all right. And to make sure everything is filled in on this side, we're just gonna do the same over here. Okay, leaking out of both ends. Awesome. I guess that's how I know it's gonna be nice and contained. All right, and now I'm supposed to attach the head on top of this. Okay, a little more down the middle here. Okay, that feels like a goodly amount. Just snuggle in. Little snowman head. All right. Here we go then. I'll seal up the side right here because clearly that's not working. His head's kind of floating on this end, which is not a great look. Quick, spray it, the bubbles. That will totally be noticeable. And then I'm just going to use the rest of this 1 ounce of soap that I have to kind of glue anything I think looks suspicious, because why not? Now I'm going to set Mr. Snowman off to the side, and it's time to mix up our soap base. Time to mix up the blue soap that's going to surround our little snowman. Just cut this up real quick. All right, let's go get this all melted. All right, I have put the melt and pour in the microwave, and I did it on really short bursts, and I think everything is melted, and it's not that hot. But as a compliment to Wholesale Supplies Plus, their clarity on all of their melt and pour clear bases is so good. Sometimes it's hard to tell if you've actually melted all of it, but I don't feel any clumps. So I'm just gonna have to assume. Let's go ahead and add our micas. So they want you to add 3 micro scoops of this white glitter. Which, what if we lived dangerously and we just doubled it? Doubled it, I say! Because more glitter equals more better. And then 1 to 2 micro scoops of the blue. So I'm going to try to go a little bit sparingly at first because I really like when melt and pour is nice and clear. Let's see, we can add a little more, I think, but I like my clarity to be super clear when the actual base allows for it. Also went ahead and added the allotted amount of essential oil, and this is so pretty. Like, look at that up close. It really does look like a perfect, like, snowy day color. That's stunning. Gonna let that sit for a second. Make sure that I have mixed in all of the colors because sometimes it's a little bit hard to tell. I'm just obsessed. It's so pretty. This soap is right at 125, which is where it's supposed to be. So now I can move in my tall, skinny mold. Looks just like this. And I can pour in about 1/4 of my soap batter. That's what they tell me to do, so that's what I'm gonna do. That looks about right. Gonna spritz with rubbing alcohol to pop any of the air bubbles. And then I'm supposed to wait until the soap forms a heavy skin. So that could be quite a while. I'm gonna try 5 minutes and then come back and see where we're at. Okay, so what I would consider a pretty thick skin has formed. You can see everything moving underneath, but the top isn't breaking. So now what I'm gonna do, and here comes the moment of truth, is I'm gonna spritz down the entire snowman. I mean, I'm gonna take my time too, because this could go wrong in so many ways if I don't get all those cracks and crannies. And we're just gonna push it in. So, looks like it's just like the perfect size. And I'm gonna have to make sure that it's sitting straight. I can kind of see on the side. Ooh, it actually went in decently straight to begin with, at least on that side. This side looks good. Looking good. All right, I'm feeling good about this. Let's go ahead and pour in some more then. I'm gonna make sure that it's still nice and slick with the rubbing alcohol. And then I'm gonna make sure that I get all the cracks. So I'm gonna go slow. And I'm going to let it settle before I pour more, like kind of let it seep into all the cracks and stuff. And then I'm pouring specifically into the crack on the side of his head. So there's enough room for you to do that. Wow, this is insane. It's crazy, and I know it's going to be so pretty. Okay, I'm going to have to go quick and reheat this. Melted that down a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead. I'm gonna let it melt on the side there. All filled up! Ah! I'm so excited! I think it's gonna turn out so good. I've been skeptical with the whole process, but I can see it on the side. It's looking like it's gonna be straight. Like, that looks straight, right? Looks like he's right in the middle and he's not falling down. I just love it. And the top looks so good. Like, the whole blue, all of the particles of glitter are free floating instead of all sinking to the bottom. So I think it's going to be incredible. And I'm actually going to leave this soap overnight. It's only about 5 p.m. where I am right now, but I am taking no chances, especially because this melt and pour is a little softer than the ones I'm used to working with. I let the soap sit for 24 hours. Is that right? 24? More like 18, I think. Anyway, it's hard as a rock. And also, it's really cold in this building, so that helped a lot. And I can't wait. Okay, this might be the most excited I've ever been about doing a melt and pour project because it took so long. So let's just release the snowman. Come on, Frosty. Get out. They were also like, if it's hard to unmold, throw it in the freezer, which Wholesale Supplies Plus, why would you tell people to put melt and pour in the freezer? You know that's going to make that melt and pour more likely to sweat after it sits on the counter. Please do not put your melt and pour in the freezer ever. It is just a bad idea. Come on. Oh, come on. All the strength. All that working out I've been doing. It's coming into play right now. Ah, I got it. Yes! Yes! Look at him! A very good idea, if I do say so myself, to put in more glitter into this soap. Okay, woo! Let's see how many bars I'm supposed to cut out of this bad boy. They also said to use a miter box, but I know good and well those of you who are actually thinking about purchasing this kit don't have that at your house. So I'm going to cut it with a kitchen knife, which is something you probably do have. I'm going to go slow, try to make it as even as possible. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, heck yeah. That's incredible. That's awesome. Now it is a little slanty, but we're gonna ignore that. I'm also really proud of my decapitation. It looks nice and even there on top. This seriously is just so cute. Here are the finished bars. All of them are usable. All of them are salvageable. They look great. They smell amazing. They smell really amazing. Now, here's something we got to talk about. There are some holes underneath this little snowman scarf here because the melt and pour just wouldn't glue together, and then whenever I filled up the mold with the blue clear soap, it just couldn't get into all of those cracks and crevices. Now, not every single bar is like that, but more bars than not. So if you make this at home, make sure you squish all of those air bubbles out because more than likely you'll be left with them in the final bars if you don't. Okay, so final thoughts and conclusions. I have some pros, I have some cons. Pro number one is that this kit is fragranced with only essential oil, and I know that's important to a lot of people. Pro number 2 is that it comes with a lot of melt and pour, and there's quite a bit left over. I would say roughly 1.5 pounds of soap base left. So if you had like a silicone mold sitting around that you have from Amazon, there's quite a bit of materials that you could still use to make more soaps that are not included in this kit. You couldn't make another set, but you could make extra with what you have left over. The end result, super cute. Like, a great design. It looks really pretty to have the clear soap around the opaque soap, and it's definitely something I would want to use and see in someone's bathroom around the holiday season. Now for the cons. So, a big con, I would say, of course, is the fact that not all of the raw materials that you needed were included in the kit. Not having that black colorant is a major oversight. And I know for sure that it isn't just my box, because if you go look at the instructions online, they also don't have that listed in the materials section. They only have it listed in the instructions. So chances are, if other people have bought this box, they also are missing the black colorant, which is really bad. Number 2, a little bit hard to do, even for someone like me who has crafted with soap a long time. Getting that soap hat to be perfect and use that snowman mold in a way that it doesn't leak all over everything, and then having to chop perfectly down the center, like, it was just a lot of things that require very steady hands and a little bit of precision, which might be difficult for people if this is one of their first soap making kits they're trying out. And then number 3, I have to mention the price. It's steep. It's just steep for 8 bars of soap. I know you have some leftovers and some extras, but if you don't use those and you're just making the 8 bars, that's pricey. That's roughly $13.50 per bar. And there are plenty of other melt and pour kit alternatives, both offered by Wholesale Supplies Plus and other crafting companies like Brambleberry and even Amazon, that would have something maybe even half the price, and you would still get as many bars as you would in this kit, that are even just as cute and less trouble to make. So there are things I like about it. I do love the finished design. I'm definitely not trying to hate on Wholesale Supplies Plus. I love them as a mass company. I use them for a lot of fragrance oils and other things, but they are huge, so I feel like with all of the craft kits that they have, not every single one of them is going to be a hit. There's going to be some misses in there, and I think ultimately kind of misses the mark for me. That being said, I'm really excited to use the bars in the bathroom, and if you guys liked seeing this sort of kit review, I would be happy to make more of them. Let me know if you would like to see more. Tell me down in the comments below. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching the 12 Days of Soapmas, and I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to do something fun for yourself today, like playing in the snow outside, or making hot chocolate with like a snowman in it that looks like a marshmallow. You've seen that on pictures? Do you know what I'm talking about? I don't really care what you do. Just do something fun for yourself today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. So until then, bye for now. Yeah.